Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's live. Today is Sunday, July 21st. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York session time. Thank you for joining me tonight for this evening. So, a couple of things, right? This past week, we've noticed a couple of very important things happen here in the United States, which really does affect what I usually trade, which is the NASDAQ futures, right? Whenever you have any sort of like high profile news regarding like presidents, prime ministers, up there in the government, you kind of have to take that as a red folder news, right? So let's say like there's a death of a president or there's an assassination attempt on the president. Those kind of events are red folder news. So be very, very careful trading the market. This market open on Monday is going to be extremely interesting due to the fact that tonight the Democratic candidate for the party dropped out, which is Biden, right? So that's really going to affect the market. That's going to be like red folder volume, red folder news activity. So be very careful with the New York Open on Monday. But without further ado, let's jump on to Forex Factory and check out the red folder news that actually does exist, right? The ones that's already planned out. So as you can see for Monday, for Monday we have nothing. There's absolutely nothing going on Monday. Let me refresh that. Yeah, that's correct. There's absolutely nothing going on Monday. Going on to Tuesday. Tuesday, we have no red folder news for Tuesday. Wednesday, we do have red folder news. So we have red folder news in the London session. We have Euro. We have the GBP. And then 1 hour and 15 minutes after the New York session open, right? The American Open, you're going to see the Canadian dollar and also the USD both at 9:45 a.m. New York session, GMT -5, right? Local time here, which is our GMT -4, excuse me, because of daylight savings time. Moving on to Thursday, we see red folder news 1 hour before the New York market opened. That's going to be USD at 8:30 a.m. Friday, we only have one red folder news. That's going to be USD, 8:30 a.m. That's, again, 1 hour before the New York session opened. Cool. Let's jump on to the charts over here. So what you see on my chart right now is a weekly chart for NASDAQ. And as you can see, we hit another, right? Every single week we're hitting an all-time high. We hit another all-time high over here. That's at 2983, just shy of 21,000. Super odd. I thought I would really seek that 21,000 and then dump right after, but it ended up dumping right before that. But as you can see over here, I do have marked out over here daily fair value gap 50% mark. But on a weekly time frame, we are still bearish, and we're bearish until we're not, right? Jumping onto the daily time frame, you're going to see our bullish daily fair value gap over here was completely smashed through this bearish fair value gap. So now this daily fair value gap becomes a confluence. Price action should seek tap into here. Maybe tap into this 50% mark. But for the meantime, in this daily fair value gap has now become an inverted fair value gap. So this is bearish. We're going to set an alert on that. And then on the lower time frames, we should be seeking a bearish position, right? We're looking for sells around there. We're going to set an alert. That's at 139.75. That's the level that we're looking at. And then we also should set an alert over here as well. We're going to use this as daily fair value gap 50%. Color you red. We're looking for red positions. And then the style, we're going to make it red as well. Cool. If you want to set an alert, that's 2311.5. Checking the fibs. Let's see how it looks like. I don't have any confluences with this fair value gap and this fair value gap when it comes to my optimal trade entry fibs. So when it comes to the Fibonacci retracement, it's not at an extreme premium. But if we open the 0.5 line. Let's see. 0.5 line overlaps exactly with the daily fair value gap 50% mark. So that gives us one confluence right there. Not super confident in that because of the fact that it's not an extreme premium and we're shorting. It's exactly at the 50% mark, which is what divides premium from discount. So take that with a grain of salt. I would be looking somewhere in here, always in my optimal trade entries, but also be very cautious at these two different levels over here. If you do see a liquidity sweep and then you see it come right back down through an entry model, definitely get in there and move your stop loss to break even as fast as possible, right? Secure your profits as fast as possible as well. You're looking for your liquidity. Liquidity levels are going to be right up here, 20,800. And then this bottom over here, which is 19,650.25. Use that with a grain of salt as well. Use those for your liquidity sweeps. That's on the daily. On the 4 hour, what do we see? 4 hour, same thing. Fair value gap over here, bearish, tapped into, respected. And then it's under the 0.5, these two different fair value gaps. This one was tapped into, respected. And then this fair value gap over here, it's about to be disrespected. And that's going to become an inverted fair value gap right here. All right. So it's actually closing above that. Let's check it out over here. No inverted fair value gap here because this is tapped into and mitigated. But we do have a fair value gap over here on the 1 hour. So yeah, keep an eye on this level where we are right now. We should be seeking higher positions. Yeah. Yeah. We should be going up from this point up. And then tapping into these higher time frame bearish fair value gaps. All right, so we identified levels on weekly, daily, and the 4 hour. We're going to move on right now to gold. Gold futures. Gold futures, we still are in this range that I drew out with the all-time high being over here. All-time high is a new all-time high, so let's bump you up a little bit. Make sure we're accurate with the all-time high number. Right, so I only went down into the smaller time frame just to make sure that my all-time high number is accurate as possible. All right, we're good. 24.88. Go back to my daily. Right, so this area here I drew out as a range. And we've pretty much been ping-ponging between that range, right? So I drew that range over here because we tapped over here, tapped into here, and then we tapped over here. And then that's pretty much what I've been looking at. So if you see it's actually respecting this range, we should be seeking this bottom level here as again for another time. So that is, what level is that? That's 2305. So it's like 2304.4. So just round that up to 2305. Right now we have this bullish fair value gap got disrespected, and then a bearish fair value gap was created over here. Now you do see there's an additional confluence as well. There's a 4 hour and a daily fair value gap 50% mark that was over here. And now it's become another fair value gap at the same exact level. So we have a confluence right there when it comes to that fair value gap. So please keep an eye on this line over here, this little area, this point of interest. Let's set an alert. 2423.8. That's what we're looking at over here. That's in the daily. Let's go down to the 4 hour, see how that looks. Oh yeah, you have multiple fair value gaps over there. If we draw our fibs, how does that seem? It's at an extreme premium. If we really want to get something at a premium and short, we're going to be looking at my 0.5, which is 2441.8. And the 0.62, which is the golden pocket, which is at 2452.9. So that's what we're looking at when it comes to gold. So yeah, we're expecting it to cross over here, do a liquidity sweep in one of these fair value gaps, get rejected, and then continuation to the downside. Right over here, this bullish fair value gap has been tapped into, respected, and now it tapped into it again, and it looks like it's going to respect it again, push up, and then dump after that. So keep an eye on that. Set your alerts over here at this level, 2428.8. Moving on to silver. Silver on the weekly. Kind of range-ish, right? Go on to daily. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then higher highs, higher high, lower high. Yeah, kind of like in a range, right? I don't know. It's way too choppy for me on the daily. We do have this fair value gap over here that was formed. I don't know how it was formed, honestly. Because I don't see it. Well, yeah, I guess, man. I know if you want to consider the wick, I usually go for the candle bodies, but yeah, I mean technically this area here has not been tested before or after, so it kind of belongs as an imbalanced fair value gap. So let's try my fibs. Let's see what this looks like. Still not super confident in the entry, but we are going to mark that area out as a point of interest. This fair value gap over here is at 30.15. Set an alert. And remember, guys, when you're setting an alert for these different pairs, make sure to put the notes as well as to why you're setting this alert. Because if you have all these alerts set and then you're not constantly monitoring them, you're going to forget. You're going to be like, why did I put that alert for gold? Why did I put that alert for silver? You're going to forget. Trust me, guys. So just set your alerts. Make sure to leave a little message for yourself. So whenever price action gets to that point, sets off your alert. You already know what to do, right? Just because of the alert message. All right. Moving on to the 4 hour. How do we see the 4 hour? This was really nice right over here. Fair value gap, 50% mark, tapped it, and then respected, went over all the way down. So on a lower-ish time frame, right? We don't want to say lower time frame because 4 hours pretty high for a time frame. It's actually respected as a high time frame position. We are in a downtrend. So we are looking for bearish positions until we are not, right? Until we get everything completely disrespected, continuation to the upside. I am going to be looking for shorts when it comes to silver. So we are going to wait till silver comes up, goes into this area, which is my 30.15 area, and see how it reacts to that. Usually it might just break through, liquidity sweep, and then come back down. That's when we want to get into this position, as it is a bit choppy on the higher time frames, which is the daily and the weekly as well. Let's go on to euro. Euro weekly, losing momentum, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, right? Equal highs over here. It's losing momentum on the weekly. So I feel more comfortable looking for bearish positions, but we have to get into them at the right moments, right? On the daily, we do see two different fair value gaps. If I draw my fibs, you're going to see this one over here almost overlaps this level over here, which is 1.08025. So this level here, I feel more comfortable entering than this one over here. Let's mark this out. This is daily. Fair value gap, 50% mark. Did I color you red? Yeah, your color red. You just need that white. All right, perfect. This one's been tapped into and mitigated, so we're gonna delete that one. Let's set an alert on that as well. That alert set at 1.08030. This bearish fair value gap has been tapped into and mitigated. Let's clean that up. And we are trading above the trend right now. This fair value gap as well. Let's identify it, right? And see how we can play this one out. This daily fair value gap 50% mark is at 1.08805. All right, let's go down to the 4-hour time frame. What do we see? Bullish fair value gap, disrespected, and now an inverted. So that was completely disrespected. So it's inverted right now. We want price action to come back, test that out, and then dump after that. So we're going to set an alert on this one. This is on the 4-hour time frame. Might just wick into it because of our folder news, and then dump completely. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Daily fair value gap 50% mark. This one's at 1.09525. Set your alerts on that. We're looking for bearish positions over here. We're looking for price action just to tap it. Probably go above it a little bit, liquidity sweep, and then just dump completely. Seeking out this daily fair value gap right over here. Daily fair value gap level is at 1.08800. Right? 1.08805. So we should be looking at price action, do something like this. Tap into that and then dump. Get more liquidity and an imbalance. Seek that and then come up. And then we'll see how price action looks after that. Moving on to GBP. GBP on the weekly. Boom. Fair value gap over here. Tapped into it. Respected completely. Fair value gap over here. That's a weekly. Looks beautiful. Set that up. Daily fair value gap. And then the 50% mark is at 1.2867. We're looking for bullish positions, right? We are still extremely bullish when it comes to the higher time frames. Going down to the daily. What do we see from the daily? Daily, we see an overlap with the weekly and the daily, which is right over here. That's at 1.2885. So we should see probably like a liquidity sweep break through this daily fair value gap, tap into here, probably tap into this daily as well. And then as long as it closes as a wick on the weekly, we're still respecting this weekly higher time frame bias. So we should probably be seeing this on the daily, seek through this, right? So just tap into here and then tap into this fair value gap and then pull back up, continuation to the upside. So keep an eye on this level over here. This level is at 1.2843. This one's already been tapped into and mitigated. And then we have another one over here, 1.2727, just in case. This one's at an extreme discount. If you were to draw my fibs all the way to the point where it's at right now, you're going to see golden pockets over here. 0.5 is over here where this fair value gap is, the second one. And then we have an extreme discount, which is 0.8. Just shy of the 0.8. So probably like 0.77, 0.78. About that. So these are a little bit more higher quality due to the fact that this fair value gap is at an extreme discount. And we always want to be looking for extreme discounts when we're getting into positions. For our time frame, what do we see? We see a fair value gap that's bullish, being completely disrespected and closing under it. Now we see this over here, which we probably could use this as an entry for a bearish position for a pullback. And if it breaks through, then we'll use that as a support. for continuation to the upside. I'm going to put here 4-hour fair value gap, 50% mark. And one or two things is going to happen. It's going to tap into, seek a little bit of liquidity, and then dump completely. Seek this daily fair value gap that overlaps with the weekly, and then just rock it up like insane. Or it'll just break through it, use it as support, and then continuation to the upside. Set your alerts for this regardless. We're going to be using this very soon. Coordinates for that are 1.2974. Moving on to Japanese yen, JPY. JPY weekly. Right? We have a weekly fair value gap right down here. That looks beautiful. It's nuts. That's at 0.00639295. Weekly fair value gap 50% mark. Check you out on the daily. How does the daily look? Broke through and disrespected this fair value gap 50% mark. Now it's using it kind of like as a level of support. Very nice. Change the color. We are now bullish. That is on the daily. What does the 4-hour look like? 4-hour disrespected and broke through this bullish fair value gap. Completely disrespected it. Now it just needs to break through, disrespect this, and then I will feel confident getting into a bullish position. Set your alerts over here. And this is a 4-hour fair value gap 50% mark. That looks good. So yeah, we identified a couple of levels, weekly, daily, and 4-hour levels on all these pairs. This coming up week, like I said, when it comes to like high profile, high caliber political figures in the country, they trigger red folder news when it is like a time of death, an assassination attempt, or someone stepping down and resigning from a political campaign. So this New York Open on Monday is going to be extremely entertaining and very interesting. Be very careful with your positions on the market open. And yeah, just make sure to be patient with your entries. Try not to force your trades. That's one of my biggest drawbacks in trading is I overtrade. I try to always force a trade even though I see that it's not a proper entry in there. Just be patient. There's going to be opportunities every single day. And you don't have to be in every single trade every single day to be profitable. On the contrary, a lot of profitable traders are profitable because they wait for their high quality trades to hit and then they get into those trades. They don't try to force it just because they want to be in the trade. All right. So that's it for now. Take care, everyone. Have a great and beautiful, profitable trading week. Goodbye for now.